Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, October 29, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so before we even take a look at what's happening across the Atlantic, we need to take a look at the Western Pacific, where we have a major hurricane over that side of the world. In this side of the world, they call them typhoons, and we can see the typhoon right here. We can definitely see that buzzsaw shape to it. Just for reference, we have the Philippines right here, we have Taiwan right here, we have Japan right here, we have mainland China right here. So we definitely have a major hurricane over this side of the globe as we speak. And as of the latest from the Hurricane Center there, they call it the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, we see that it is packing maximum sustained winds of 125 knots, which basically makes it a powerful category 4 hurricane. They use knots over this side of the world. In our side of the world, especially with the Americans, that the Hurricane Center in the United States, they use miles per hour. So it's right there at category 4 status, and it's expected to push towards the northwest, towards Taiwan, where we know there are a lot of Jamaicans who work or live in Taiwan. Not to mention the fact that it's going to be crossing Taiwan from southeast to northwest, and then make it very close, a bit too close for comfort, to mainland China. Then we see that it's definitely going to be making a turn right there to the right or to the northeast, where it could make it as far as Japan, where we also know that there are a lot of Jamaicans who live or work. So it's definitely going to be a very bad situation. If you remember earlier this year, Taiwan got hit by another hurricane that did that little loop because of all of the mountains over there, and I definitely highlighted that phenomenon. You can definitely see it even better right here on the infrared rainbow satellite images. Look at the high cold cloud tops, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, definitely on track towards the northwest, towards Taiwan right here. It's expected to weaken back to a category 3 before it makes landfall across Taiwan, and then when it is back over the water to the northwest of the island, it should be downgraded back to a category 1. But we can definitely see how impressive it looks. Look at the clouds fanning out. Look at that buzzsaw like shape to it. Definitely the textbook kind of look in terms of what major hurricanes are presented to be in general. Definitely gonna be a bad situation. I'm pretty sure that there's already flooding taking place across portions of the Philippines. We know how susceptible they are to flooding, a very poor country right there. So even if I'm pretty sure that if you look up the Philippines flooding on YouTube as of the last 24 hours, there's already flooding taking place, if not within the next 24 hours, as the system continues to push towards the northwest and they continue to get in on some of the outer bands of that system. So if I were you and you have relatives or friends who live in those areas, the Philippines, Taiwan, China, Japan, please ensure that you check in on them. Ask them if they know about this typhoon that's headed their way. Ensure that you get in as much communication with them, because we know how these hurricanes can cause damage, loss of communication, loss of electricity, you name it. So get in contact with them today just in case. Before we look at what the Hurricane Center is showing, let us first take a look at what the US Climate Prediction Center is showing on their Global Tropics Hazards Outlook. This latest update just came out today, October 29, and they're still highlighting that for the time period from November 6 to November 12 and November 13 to November 19, we're still in for some of these light shades of greens across the Caribbean on both time periods, as well as the red and white patterns that we know both represent some above normal rainfall in the light shades of greens and some tropical cyclone formation probability. So even after whatever is trying to formulate right now gets done with, we still have a lot more action as we head into mid-November. This season is quite active. Doesn't seem like it's gonna be wrapping up anytime soon. Looks like it's gonna be going all the way through to November, and I wouldn't even be surprised if we get some December systems because the water is plenty warm, and I'll definitely be showing you guys what that looks like in the next couple of days, how warm the waters are still are. I'm pretty sure that you're already seeing it. Numerous maps all over. Waters are very warm, so there is a high chance that this hurricane season could be extended into December. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. It has happened before in the past, so you guys shouldn't be surprised if it happens either. If we take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather look that just came out at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:27 p.m. Jamaica time. So this one just came out almost 10 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken, almost 20 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken. And we can see that we still have that area across the Caribbean that has a 40% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days, and it has now encompassed Jamaica. Remember, it was more south of us. Now it's one big circle across portions of Jamaica, sections of Haiti, even portions of the Cayman Islands getting in on the mix. According to the Hurricane Center, a broad area of low pressure is likely to develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea in a couple of days. Gradual development is possible thereafter, and a tropical depression could form over the weekend, while the system drifts generally northward over the central Caribbean Sea. And we see that they've given it a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days, and a 7% chance, and a 40% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And they're stating that it's going to be drifting northward, maybe close to us in Jamaica. Jamaica is right here on the north end of this shaded region, so we might just get on some of the action. And we're going to be looking at what both supercomputer models are showing. First, we're going to be looking at the Euro model here, and we're going to be focusing our attention on the timestamp. That's the next 168 hours. And we're going to be focusing our attention on the Caribbean as well. We're going to be looking for the moisture, the greens, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and we're going to be looking at what the GFS is showing as well. So keep in mind that this is as of the latest run of the Euro that just came out this afternoon. Then we're going to be looking at the latest run of the GFS that just came out an hour ago. So as we go out in time, we see that even as we head into Wednesday, we still have that trough that was induced by the frontal system still bring a lot of moisture, as represented by the greens to portion of the Greater Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, all the way into portion of Central America. Even as we head into Thursday, we still have a lot of moisture, and the thing is, it's all of this moisture that's going to be accumulating and building, and basically going to be the fuel in general that the area of low pressure is going to be using, all of the moisture sucking in and around it, and then possibly formulating into whatever is going to be happening by the end of the next 7 days. Look at that. The moisture is basically stationary across the southwestern Caribbean. And then even as we head into Monday, November 4, this is 6Z, which is actually 1 a.m. Look at that. We see one big isobar with an area of low pressure right there to the south of Jamaica. Lots of moisture in and around it. Jamaica is definitely going to be in for a wet end of October into early November. And then as we stop right here at the end of the 168 hours, we see the area of low pressure right here closer to Central America. We also see a lot of moisture spinning and heading into portion of Jamaica, Haiti right there. But let us see what the GFS model is showing for the same time period, because we know that we have to have agreement in order for us to believe that whatever is going to be happening is actually going to take place. So as stated, as we head into Wednesday, still have a lot of moisture across Jamaica, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico. Even the southwestern Caribbean starting to get very moist. Thursday, something similar. Friday. And as we continue to go to time, look at what happens first of all. This is as of this Sunday, November 3. This is 12Z, which is actually 7 a.m. Look at what tries to happen right here between Cuba, Haiti, some kind of area of low pressure, something formulating right there. And look at what it does. It pushes into portions of eastern Cuba and then right there to the northwest of Jamaica into the Cayman Islands. Definitely quite an interesting forecast, but that's just the thing. The GFS has been doing this. It has been showing something different each and every run, because I'm pretty sure that if I look at the 12Z run of the GFS from earlier today, we're going to be seeing something different. Let's go back a few frames. Look at what it showed. Yes, we saw that thing between Cuba, Haiti, and Jamaica, but look at what it did this time. It made its way definitely across Jamaica by 18th on Monday, November 4, which is 1 p.m. on Monday. And we see it pushed off towards the southwest. And this latest run of the GFS showing something different. This is basically showing us that especially the GFS model is not sure about exactly what's going to be happening. But what we are sure about is the fact that even if we don't get the next name on the list, which is Spotty, we're going to be in for a lot of rainfall, and we can see all the rainfall right here being represented by the dark reds, the purples, the pinks, the salmon colors, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS models. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that this is valid from now all the way up to Tuesday, November 5. Look at all of the rainfall into portion of Belize, northeastern Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, all the way into the central Caribbean, especially northeastern Jamaica, eastern Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Puerto Rico. We even see some light shades of blues in there across coastal areas of Colombia to the north of Puerto Rico, to the east of Puerto Rico. That represents anywhere from 10 all the way up to 12 inches of rainfall. That is just ridiculous amounts of rainfall. And 3 in the purple all the way up to the salmon colors to 6 inches is already enough. So there's definitely going to be a lot of flash flooding taking place before all is said and done with this hurricane season as we head into early November. And I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a trough right here to the north of the Caribbean, another trough right here across the eastern portion of the US, a tropical wave right here to the west of Jamaica, another tropical wave right here across the southeastern Caribbean, a trough right here that has been induced by that frontal system to the northeast of the Caribbean, another tropical wave right here across northeastern South America. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the mess of it all. Lots of clouds having to do with numerous troughs, areas, frontal systems, tropical waves here and there. It is just quite one big mess. But what we can see right here, especially across the waters to the north of the Caribbean, a lot of upper level wind shear from west to east, and that's what these systems don't like. So if anything is going to be happening, it's going to be definitely generating across the Caribbean where we see less of that wind shear. For sure, we can definitely make out some of the moisture right there pushing from east-west, fueling and moistening up the atmosphere, especially across the southwestern Caribbean. So get ready for what is to come. And the fact that we have a whole high pressure ridge right here to the north that's sending a lot of air and piling it all the way down, it's just setting up the Caribbean in general for a lot of the air piling up, a lot of moisture building in general. This is what I'm referring to. If we take a look at the windy map, look at all of these strong northeasterly winds pushing down. So any system that we have up here, all of these troughs, definitely going to be squashed down into portion of the Caribbean, bringing more moisture to the area. So it makes sense that there's going to be a lot of moisture sitting down in our region of the basin in general in the next week or so. So we have to stay updated to see exactly what unfolds. There's going to be a lot of flash flooding for sure. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, October 29, 2024. It was stated that parts of northern and eastern Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall on Tuesday, and then would have had some afternoon rainfall mainly across sections of some central and western parishes. And just for reference, northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While eastern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. While when we're talking about central and western parishes that were in for the afternoon rainfall, central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? As early as 5:20 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted right here on our Twitter page. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely see the Cuban Doppler radar imagery that was posted around 5:20 a.m. this morning, highlighting the greens and the yellows that represent some moderate to some heavy rainfall affecting portion of northern Jamaica, not so much eastern Jamaica, but definitely northern Jamaica, anywhere from St. James eastward. Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland was getting in on some of that morning rainfall. And then during the afternoon, the visible satellite image was posted at around 4:36 p.m., highlighting some clouds, bringing some overcast skies and some isolated showers to sections of some central and western parishes. Definitely a section of St. Anne coastal areas right there. Manchester, Clarendon, section of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James got in on some of the action. As a matter of fact, even a couple minutes ago, another post was made highlighting the infrared satellite images, highlighting some thunderstorms, some isolated thunderstorms that affecting portions of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland at that time. This was 6:15 p.m. just to show that we're getting on some of that rainfall lingering into the evening hours for sure. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely make out that low level flow from the east. We can even make out some clouds pushing in from the east northeast right here to the south of St. Thomas. Look at all of the air piling up. Look at the clouds building across especially western Jamaica. Definitely had some thunderstorms before all was said and done with the day. We can see it all even better on the infrared satellite images right here. The thunderstorms, the sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. And we see the high cold cloud toss being sheared off to the east for sure, just like what we stated in yesterday's video. But according to the live stream from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we didn't get in on much taking place across the corporate area today. This is Crossroads at around 2:50 p.m. and we can see that for the most part it was cloudy right here. Some sunshine in the hills of northern St. Andrew, some clouds up there as well, but nothing too significant in terms of bad weather or rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have live streams of Halfway Tree as well, Barbican, the Kingston Harbor, and they are planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had that rainfall, especially across northern Jamaica in the morning, then sections of some central and western parishes during the afternoon and early evening. Definitely encompassing what was predicted. We see how accurate it is in terms of the geography of it all, but not necessarily the amount of rainfall that took place. It could have been less than this, it could have been more than this in some spots, but this is quite a useful tool in general. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite image, the latest still image that just came out at 45 minutes past the hour, look at what's taking place right now. We still have the thunderstorms lashing portions of western or northwestern St. Elizabeth, sections of Westmoreland getting in on the action right now, section of Negril for sure. Look at the deep convection, the blacks, the grays, the sparkling white, that's how we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. They're definitely getting in on some amount of bad weather out there as we speak. And we definitely have the latest Cuban Doppler radar image to confirm this. Look, this is the latest still image that just came out at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:50 p.m. Jamaica time. So this just came out 9 minutes ago. We can definitely make out that moderate to heavy rainfall as indicated by the greens, the yellows, even some oranges in there. Definitely some heavy rainfall, especially to the south of Westmoreland. Definitely getting on some of the action across western St. Elizabeth, coastal areas of Westmoreland. We even see some isolated showers coming into portions of St. Mary and St. Anne as we speak. And if we take a look at the very latest Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar Station imagery, we see some isolated showers right here across the waters to the north of Jamaica, across portions of the western peninsula of Haiti. And if we take a look at the Cayman radar, let's see what's happening out west. We can definitely make out that heavy rainfall for sure to the south of Westmoreland. There we have it right there. Look at that heavy rainfall, the greens, the yellows. We can even see some rainfall to the east of the Cayman Islands, to the west of there as well. And if we take a look at the very latest Barbican cam, we can see nothing taking place. People walking, going about their business. People in their vehicles going about their business. This is as of the latest, 6:59 p.m. Nothing taking place right now. Definitely going to be a fair night in general. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Wednesday when calculated. That's about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. We can see Jamaica right here, embedded in some slight yellow colors. And we can see by the key on the right, the slight yellow colors are representative of at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica are 89 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's calculated, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31.6 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Wednesday. And we know the drill. Tips to beat the heat: always dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Seek shade when you're outside. Eat fresh fruit. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to keep hydrated. Drink lots of water throughout the day, not only when you're thirsty, even when you're not thirsty. And try to put away the sugar drinks and drink water instead for the most part. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we can see that North America, the Caribbean, South America, Central America definitely in the clear. All the dust that represent the Saharan. Well, all the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be across the main development region right here. We see the browns. And we know the high pressure ridge is somewhere to the north, not as strong, or we would have a strong plume. And we like the fact that the more it comes to the west, the more it dwindles. You see the darker browns that represent the vigorous plume that can cause the hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. But the thing is, the more west it goes, the more it dwindles into some lighter shades of browns that we won't even notice by the time it gets to the Caribbean. And we can see Jamaica right here, definitely in the clear for 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that the highest waves should be across the waters to the north of the Caribbean. Look at the purples, look at the burgundies. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way to 4 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds up there from the northeast that are going to be pushing down most of these systems down to the Caribbean, moistening up the area. Strong winds in general, averaging anywhere from 25 to 30 knots in the yellows and the gold colors, as we can see by the key on the bottom right. Across the Caribbean, we see more greens and lighter shades of yellows than anything else. It represents anywhere from 15 to 25 knots in some spots. And we see the general flow of the winds from the east across the Caribbean, more so from the northeast or the east-northeast across the western Caribbean right there. And if we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica in terms of the wind forecast, definitely see more of an east-northeasterly flow, especially across the north coast. More of that air is going to be piling up across southern parishes. And you know what that means? Wherever we have the least amount of winds, that's where we're going to be having all of those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. So look out for that afternoon rainfall if you're living in St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, Clan Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. Look out for that morning rainfall for sure, if not rainfall already tonight, which we already saw on the Doppler radar images, for portions of Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, and Hanover for sure. So tonight into tomorrow, northern Jamaica rainfall. Tomorrow afternoon, southern Jamaica rainfall. That's what's going to be forecast. And we see the upper level wind shear still coming in more so from the west, more from the west northwest tomorrow. And regarding the actual rainfall forecast now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are in consensus that northern Jamaica are going to be, well, northern Jamaican parishes are going to be getting some amount of rainfall. Anywhere from Trelawney eastward, we see the blues. St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, definitely in for some amount of morning rainfall. Maybe eastern St. Thomas too. skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time. We still see a lot of the blues that represent rainfall across northern Jamaica, eastern Jamaica. We see the consensus on both maps for those parishes, eastern and northern Jamaica for sure. And then by afternoon, this is valid for 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. Look at both the Euro and the GFS models. Rain across northern parishes as well as southern parishes. Look at these dark blues and greens down in St. Elizabeth and Manchester on the Euro. GFS showing something similar but more so across Westmoreland. And we see a lot of it right there to the east of St. Thomas. Either way, the main takeaway is that there's going to be a lot of rainfall, and both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus with this, especially for the waters to the northeast of the island. We see the rains that represent up to 1 inch of rainfall, the Burgundies as well, up to 2 inches of rainfall. GFS clearly a bit more robust, with the purples that represents up to 3 inches of rainfall across the waters to the north of Portland. There's going to be rainfall somewhere across Jamaica tomorrow. As stated, more so across northern Jamaica in the morning and tonight, as well as southern Jamaica during Wednesday afternoon. And we see the rainfall totals, we see what's expected, and we're indeed grateful. We're in the month of October, we're in the wettest month of the year for the island of Jamaica. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we shall receive up to 170 millimeters of rainfall. That's almost 7 inches of rainfall. In Kingston, well, in Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we shall receive up to 8.5 inches of rainfall. That's about 212 millimeters of rainfall. So we'll definitely take it. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com. They'll show you your parish and how much rainfall you get. And regarding the rainfall on the rain gauge, you can use this nice little graphic right here that does the calculation. We know that in terms of inches to millimeters, 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of moisture across portions of the Greater Antilles, the northeastern Caribbean, northern South America, Central America in general, and we can see it all even better on the Cuban, well, on the northeastern Caribbean Doppler radar images. Some rainfall in and around Puerto Rico, eastern portion of the island as well. The US and British Virgin Islands getting on some of the action. The waters to the south of Puerto Rico, the waters to the east of Guadeloupe and Dominica. And if we take a look at earlier today, we can definitely make out what was taking place. Definitely some heavy rainfall across the waters to the northeast of Puerto Rico as well as across southwestern Puerto Rico with those yellows, oranges and reds. That's ridiculous. What's happening across the Barbados radar now? There's some isolated shores to the north of the island pushing in and pushing westward. Sections of Dominica getting on the action. So too Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Not so much Grenada or Trinidad and Tobago, just as predicted in yesterday's video. But that could change maybe tomorrow. Let's look at the rainfall forecast map shortly. But before we do that, we can see some rainfall right here across portion of the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala, some rainfall coming into portion of Nicaragua. You can also see some rainfall right there across northeastern Venezuela. And regarding the rainfall forecast for tomorrow, not so much rainfall at all for Trinidad and Tobago, eastern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, or French Guyana. But there's going to be a lot of it, especially in the reds and the burgundies and the purples that represent 1 to all the way up to 3 inches of rainfall for portions of the Yucatan Peninsula, Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this. We also see some rainfall in store for sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sections of St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, section of the Cayman Islands getting on the mix. So too the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia for sure. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.